What is up, everybody? Solomon here. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. I have the pleasure of interviewing Sam from Fabriq Labs this afternoon as part of the Hedera Corner that Genfinity is facilitating. As with the previous interviews, we've got essentially 10 questions, 10 answers, and under 10 minutes, but we all know that it never goes that way. So it's nice to meet you, Sam. Glad to have you on, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's nice to meet you too. Yeah, it's the same thing. I do a podcast every week for NFT.com, and I feel like I could geek out on Web3 for like 3 hours with everybody we have on the podcast. So
It always happens. Anytime you do a Twitter Spaces and you set a time limit or anything, it just never goes that way. But I do want to hop right in because I think that, speaking with you, Sam, and with what Fabriq Labs is accomplishing or trying to accomplish in this space is a little bit different than what we've interviewed before. So can you, first question here is for you to describe your crypto project, or I guess for you, what you're trying to accomplish in this space.
yeah, absolutely. So just a little bit of backstory. When I was at NFT NYC back in, this was May, seems like forever ago, but it's Web3. I met a couple of professors from the Fashion Institute of Technology. They've had a blockchain program there for a few years now, but this year they were launching their first Web3 NFT course for students. So teaching students to build NFTs, throughout the process to get them to mint. It was wildly popular, hard to get into class, and these are some serious artists at the Fashion Institute. So we started talking, and I ended up helping them to put together the syllabus. I went I'll be going up a few times throughout the semester to guest lecture. I'm going up next week again, and it's an opportunity to take I told you, as soon as we started, ignores me all day. It's a great opportunity to take them from idea to design through white paper and all the way out to mint, social media presence, and everything. So, education is one of the big pillars that's going to get us to mass adoption. And the more people we can bring along in Web3, especially artists. I mean, Web3 was born in art, and it's going to continue to be a massive part of the metaverses as they evolve. So yeah, it definitely starts with education. And in addition, personally, I believe Web3, there's a lot of opportunities for win-win scenarios everywhere. So at Fabriq Labs, we're also launching a curated design marketplace, digital design, digital wearables, architecture, interior design for the metaverse, whatever it might be, but curated, and the students will have an opportunity to list their NFT projects on the marketplace.
That's fantastic, Sam. A little bit of a background for you. So what really got you into this space? Why are you building in Web3? Why did you choose to build on Hedera for some of the initiatives that you're trying to facilitate?
So Web3 I'm actually a little later to the game than a lot of people. For me, it was pandemic. It was something that, I was always interested in, kind of always saw it in the background. And then all of a sudden you have time. And so I decided to dig in. And as I was looking at different options of layer ones, Hedera stood out from a technology perspective. I think most people, who are in the HBAR community and people who are interested in getting into the HBAR community, just start on watching some YouTube videos of Lehman talking about the Hashgraph, and you'll go down a rabbit hole of a few hours of learning about the technology. And once I got into Hedera, and once I started, kind of the phrase I like to say is "come for the technology, stay for the community." Once I started getting into it, I started reaching out to people, joining some Twitter Spaces, and I've literally never been a part of a community that's so supportive, or so into it. I mean, we're small right now, but everybody just wants to build, and everybody wants to collaborate, and everybody wants to help each other. I say all the time, if you're interested in getting into Web3, if you're interested in learning about Hedera, join a Twitter Space, DM someone on Twitter, and I guarantee they're going to get back to you. They're going to talk to you about it. They're going to give you some resources to look into, and they're going to help you any way they can. I think everybody in Web3, and especially in Hedera, realizes that we have a massive market that is completely untapped, of people who understand NFTs, not only what they are, of the, what people see as the crypto punks and the Bored Apes and things like that, but what they can be and what the metaverse can be. And it's a huge opportunity, and it's amazing to be part of such a supportive community.
100%. Again, I think talking about the Hedera community, I couldn't have said it better. It's my experience 100%. If you reach out to some of the builders in this space, whether that even be, Hedera themselves or the foundation, or, I hear so much stuff about patches, from Turtle Moon, just reaching out to help people. It's crazy.
Patches is pretty much the mayor of the HBAR community.
Yeah, dude, he spends. I had an interview with a teacher that is kind of facilitating the Aliens NFT project on Hedera, and he said that when he first started, Patches literally spent an hour with him, just to help him set up a wallet and do all those other things. So this leads me into like target audience and community, because education certainly is going to open up tons and tons of doors. Really, I mean, that's a key to mass adoption, in my opinion, as well. So from Fabriq Labs standpoint, who's the initial target audience and community that you're trying to educate right now? And then how do you extrapolate that out, and how do you do it? Because I know you talked about the Fashion Institute. Do you have more ideas about facilitating things like that in the future?
Without a doubt. So at the Fashion Institute, we're just really getting started with the semester, but we're going to be, on Tuesday when I go up, I'm going to be teaching them to create wallets. And we're going to record that and start to build up a backlog of kind of beginner's guides to Web3 and what you actually need to do. I'm teaching the students, why not reach out to everyone else as well?
Yep.
And any of the best practices that we find throughout this process, we're going to socialize with anyone and everyone who wants to know. So as more universities catch up to where FIT is, where NYU is, where some other schools, Pepperdine actually has a Web3 program. As more schools come on board, we'll have that backlog and we'll have those lessons learned, and just make it that much easier for everyone else. Again, it's all about collaboration.
100%. I couldn't agree more. And it has to start somewhere with provable results. So like even throughout that Fashion Institute initiative and wallet creation events, seeing how many students may be interested in and working and trying to like launch something on, at least the bare minimum of like learning how to create a wallet, learning about the efficiencies of a network. And then you have those results. It's much easier to go into the next educational institute and be like, hey, these are the results that we had here. It was wildly successful. I see that you don't have any Web3 initiatives as far as education right now. This is something that we'd like to provide as a service, X, Y, and Z. There's tons and tons and tons of opportunities out there. I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but, and it's hard to ask this question with, a lot of projects sometimes, but what differentiates Fabriq Labs from other Web3 projects that you're seeing in the space right now?
So I would say specifically, it would be that the education is the first focus. So I've always been a big believer in, you start off doing something good and something good will come from it. So the first step for us is definitely the education and definitely growing the Web3 footprint. And not only that, but kind of growing it, this will sound a little weird, but growing it in the right way. So so many things are so great about Web3, about, just how it was born in it was born as a decentralized solution. And the fact that everyone's so collaborative, and the fact that we're looking for sovereign control of identity and all of those things. And the more we can impart those, not even the facts, not even the mechanics of setting up a wallet, but just the feeling and the idea of this can be something really big. This can be something that's a titanic change in terms of, we all give up so much of our identity every day, and we do it because it's easy and because it's convenient and because honestly, there's really no other choice. You try to get through a day without Googling something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy. But Web3 can solve a lot of those issues. And the more we impart this feeling of making a difference through technology is hugely important. And specifically for the Fabriq Labs product, it's a curated marketplace. So the OpenSeas of the world, and it's fine. There's absolutely a place for mass markets where everybody, here's everything. Just take a look. We're targeting more of a niche market. So, and I think that's fine. Just like there's room for multiple layer ones, there's room for lots of different types of marketplaces. You have the Walmarts and the Targets of the world, and then you also have the boutique stores, and both can be successful in Web3 and in the real world.
No, and I think it's an interesting point to even, you look at when you said you came into this space, which was, probably, I'm assuming like sometime in 2020, mid to late 2020. And once you kind of understand what's going on and what's being developed here, it's nice to see builders that have joined, right before the peak of a bull market, which was in, April, and then another peak in November. But even, prices are kind of a byproduct of like the building, and people that are sticking around, building out real ecosystems in this space, regardless of what the price of these assets may be, is going to be the catalyst for, this is why we have market cycles. It takes enough innovation to bootstrap out value to reciprocate the next market cycle up, and then it's going to be oversaturation, we go back down. But yeah, kudos, man. I know it's a lot of work. You talked about the Fashion Institute, but what other partnerships or collaborations have you had? Any other partnerships or collaborations in this space yet? Are you working towards any right now?
That so I have two screens, my Zoom screen and my note screen, and the collaborations are about half of my screen. And just so everyone knows, we did not talk about this beforehand. So, but it's easy to understand why you would ask that, because Web3 is so much about collaboration, and 100%. So the NFT community as a whole. So we're, in addition to doing recording things that I'm going to be doing in the class, I'm also starting up a series of educational videos from members of the HBAR NFT community. The first one's going to be with Brandon from PixelRug.
Yep.
He's going to do a little bit about 3D NFTs and how to make the metadata work, and why we're building them in Hedera, and why a Hedera NFT looks very different from something on Decentraland or Sandbox.
Yep.
So yes, collaborations within the HBAR NFT community. The HBAR Foundation and Swirled Labs are, as soon as we started talking about it, their first question is, how can we help? How can we get involved? And we're working on, ideas to do that. Earlier this week, I was at a conference a few weeks ago in Wyoming, and I met Sushil, the CEO of a company called Drop, the ROP. And we
just got integrated with Shopify like yesterday.
So. They did, and they have USDC integration. So I drove up to Newark the other day and met with them for a few hours about learning about their product, and we're planning to hopefully integrate Drop as a payments platform for Fabriq. So the potential of buying NFTs with credit cards. Hashport is another one. We're working with them. Jesse over at Hashport is hugely helpful. So they have some things rolling out soon based on the latest Hedera patch that we're going to try to integrate. Blade Wallet as well. They're right now in the process of putting together a wallet solution for the students. They do a really cool bespoke wallet service, where they essentially provide you a QR code, and then all you have to do is download the app and everything's taken care of.
Wow.
Yeah, and they even have the option to airdrop. Then you can record who has downloaded via that QR code and airdrop NFTs accordingly.
That's cool.
I have a call right after we finish up here. I'm talking to the guys over at H Suite, who are building some really amazing things with their smart nodes.
Yeah, I've talked to Tapachi, and Edmortis before. They're good guys. So,
and smart guys.
Yep.
So yeah, this is all about collaboration, and in Web3, there's so much to do. You can focus on your little world, and you can focus on your one little thing that you're doing, and hopefully you'll be successful. Or you can work with a lot of other people and be successful at a lot of things, and kind of take what everyone else's strengths are, put them together with your strengths, and build something amazing. It's just a different way of thinking, and it takes a minute to get there, because in typical Web 2 thinking, you think, okay, I have this awesome idea. I have to keep it offline. I have to keep it written down. I can't tell anybody about it. We got to wait till we get the beta test, and then we got to keep that under wraps, and people sign NDAs and blah, blah, blah. It just doesn't exist here. you have an idea, you tell somebody about it, and you say, hey, can you help out? Yeah, I can maybe do this piece. And then somebody else says, hey, I can maybe do this piece. And it's it's a more efficient way of doing things. It's decentralized.
Yeah,
And
I couldn't disagree 100%. I agree.
so yeah, those are just some of the people we've talked to so far.
Uh, team member wise, is it just you right now? Do you have a team that you're working with? I know the collaborations kind of make that strength in numbers much easier. But as far as the initial initiatives within Fabriq Labs, is it you right now?
I'm driving the bus. I have a couple of collaborators, who are working on pieces and kind of advisors to step in here and there. But I'm absolutely driving the bus on this one. So it's a lot of work, but again, the collaboration makes it possible.
A
Because I
million percent.
couldn't do it all alone.
And I think what we see in this space is, um, with projects that are really trying to facilitate community or education, over time, once people catch wind of it, it's very easy to build out a community of contributors that are almost like fans within what projects are trying to accomplish. So it does ease the burden and the workload a little bit. Not that it's a burden, but I know how hard it is to try to do something and how much time it takes, especially if you're doing it right in a way where you're not just launching a coin or a token or an NFT right off the bat. Nothing wrong with that model. It's obviously super successful and it's a great way to bootstrap. But yeah, it's difficult when you're coming from the educational purview 100%. Milestones and achievements that you've accomplished so far through Fabriq. And I know you already talked about the Fashion Institute aspect. Within that, are there any milestones and achievements that you've either already accomplished outside of that, or that you're looking forward to accomplish in the next, couple of months here? What you think might be coming down the path?
So I'm gonna contradict myself right now, and it's not because it's something I don't want to talk about. It's something that one of the partners we're working with is working on, and I'm not sure what they've announced. So I'm not sure what I'm at liberty to say with that. But there absolutely are, setting up the course and getting the students interested and getting these collaborations and getting people on board with the idea of doing this has been a big get, and getting people who want to be involved. And that was something I shouldn't have been worried about because I know the HBAR NFT community pretty well. But it was still something that was kind of a question mark, a wild card of, are people really going to want to help out and record a 20-minute XYZ to show to the students? And so far, the response has been overwhelmingly positive and helpful. So I would definitely give me a couple months and I'll come back and I'll be able to let you know everything. But I don't want to speak out of turn for somebody else's product.
No, 100%. I appreciate it. I always try to get a little bit of alpha out of people if there's anything that hasn't been announced yet, but I'll be paying attention, and hopefully the audience here will be paying attention to over the next couple of months. This is like the super cliche question that you always get asked, especially in job interviews. But where do you see Fabriq Labs, let's say in a year from now? And where do you see Fabriq Labs, let's say 2 to 3 years from now?
So a year from now, I would say definitely into second semester of teaching, at least at the Fashion Institute, and hopefully spreading to other schools, at least the curriculum and professors we can work with. The marketplace up and running, and it's eventually. So this is probably more to the 2 to 3 year question, is creating a DAO run marketplace. I want the creators to be in control. I want the creators, first of all, nobody wants me deciding what is fashion. Nobody wants to be, it's going to be a curated marketplace, but I'm not the one who should be making the decision.
Same thing with me, dude. I'm colorblind, so I always just throw stuff together, and I wear mostly black, white, and gray clothes. So it is what it is.
Yeah, and nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I want it, the creators. So I like to talk about Web3 when we were talking about Drop and their micropayment system. So if you look at YouTube, for instance, which it's going to be on YouTube, but you have the creators who create the content, the consumers who consume the content, the two most important actors in the ecosystem. And then you have YouTube up here that hosts it, and they came up with the technology. That's great. They should be rewarded for that. But YouTube charges the advertisers, and then YouTube kicks, the consumer has to watch the advertisements in order to consume the videos, and the creator gets a little kickback from YouTube for getting 10,000 views or 100,000 views. And again, I think that YouTube should be rewarded for the fact that they have the servers, and things tend to load pretty quickly, but maybe not so disproportionately. So, what if something like Drop could make micropayments where the consumer could just pay, say, a fraction of a penny. Say, I want to watch this 20-minute video. I'll pay half a cent for it. Cool. And all of a sudden, that transaction is happening here, and all of this is, a smaller piece.
Yep.
It's one of the freedoms that Web3 can bring us. And again, I go back to imparting this feeling of decentralization and this feeling of collaboration and creator empowerment, because eventually, and probably not too long from now, the corporations and institutions are going to come in and try to maintain their yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's really what it is, right? They're going to try to maintain that.
All the inefficiencies that we can take out with Web3, all of those steps along the way, somebody's making money. Yep. And those people are going to fight back hard against a true implementation of Web3. And it's going to be bloody. It's going to be a war, but it's happened before. It happened in the early 2000s when, the brick and mortar companies were anti-internet and trying to fight back against the rise of the internet. But at the end of the day, the best technology tends to win out, and Web3 has the best technology.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with the micropayments aspect. I think that's going to be one of the killer aspects of what Web3 does represent. And I think that, like, you can look at, even outside of Hedera, like into the Ripple ecosystem with Coil being around for years. And I almost think that some of those micropayment implementations were so far ahead of the time that people didn't really know what they were looking at yet, as far as, that empowerment aspect is concerned. And we all know that Hedera, can facilitate the exact same thing. Actually, the trials with one of the governing board members of Hedera, FTPOS, which is basically the ACH system in Australia and New Zealand. Now, this was just through Australia, but that first trial before they were a governing board member surrounded itself around micropayments, and obviously it was successful because now FTPOS is sitting at the governing board. So so I definitely want to lead people to any links that they can go to learn more about what Fabriq Labs is doing right now.
So it's going to be everything's going to go through our Twitter. So at Fabriq Labs, that's where we're going to make the announcements. We're going to put all of our education materials out there for everyone to see and everyone to use. As these announcements come out, everything will be there. The progress we're making with the students, mistakes we make, things that don't work, which are often much more instructive than things that do work. Everything's going to be there. So that's going to be our main point of communication. And as things come on board, as we get some samples from what I'm expecting is going to be pretty cool artwork from the students, you'll be able to see that as well. So at Fabriq Labs.
That'll be awesome. I cannot wait.
Fabriq with a Q.
Fabriq with a Q. So at on Twitter, if you guys are on Twitter, it's at FABRIQ LABS. And then the last question that I always have isn't really a question, but it's just allowing you to kind of lead us out. Any closing thoughts that you would have, what you're looking forward to in this market? It's kind of that heartstring type pull thing that if you have 30 seconds or a minute that you want to talk about, feel free to lead us out, Sam. And I thank you for your time. So
thank you. Collaborate and get involved. It's the more people we have that are interested in Web3 that are sitting on the sidelines and actually pick up and get involved is the faster we're going to get to mass adoption. And that's what we're all aiming for. So work with people, ask questions, just get involved, become a moderator on a Discord channel, become a moderator on Twitter, put some social media posts out for a project you like. Just ask somebody for help. I don't understand. I promise you, if you go into the HBAR NFT community and say, I'm having trouble setting up my wallet, you're going to have 15 people who DM you within an hour and say, let's get on a Zoom. I'll walk you through it. No problem. Just get involved, get out there. Half of success is showing up. And there are so many opportunities in Web3. We can't, like those of us who are in it now, we can't do it all ourselves. So we need help. We need more people involved. And there are options. We get a little tribal with our layer ones. You're kind of towing the line across Ripple and Hedera.
So I'm trying to do multiple ecosystems if possible, and trust me, it's not as easy as it sounds. So
it's fun. It's almost like, you know, the Navy and the Army ribbing each other. Yeah, there's a rivalry there, but at the end of the day, we're all on the same side.
yep.
There's room for multiple layer ones, and there will be multiple layer ones in the long term, I believe. So, you know, maybe just find a project somewhere that you like, even if it's not on your home base ecosystem. And like I said, I do a lot of work with NFT.com, and their CEO, Jordan Freed, has a great quote. What if we're at the exact right place at the exact right time with the technology?
Yep.
And I personally believe we are right here with Web3, and it's early, it's still early, and we can all be a part of it. There's plenty of room in this boat. So get on board and get involved. Reach out to me. I'm happy to help anytime too.
Well, thank you very much, Sam, and thank you for coming on. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the announcements over the next couple of months with Fabriq Labs. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing the educational initiatives within the Fashion Institute too, because I think that even as you were discussing it, there's a lot of really cool things that you could do with that. And I'm sure that you've thought about some of those same things. So it'll be interesting to watch all that flush out. Looking forward to the partnerships and collaborations you guys announce. And again, appreciate the time that we've spent during this call, and look forward to talking again for sure.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having us on. And yeah, appreciate it. Have a great day, everybody.